Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week we'll be painting our last barn owl for a while. Hopefully you had fun doing these barn owl paintings. I know I have. All of the colors that we'll be using and the paintbrushes will be in the description box, so check that out if you don't already know the colors that we'll be using. And let's get started. We're going to start with our largest brush, which is a medium to large filbert or flat. We're going to just dampen our brush a little bit and then dry it off on our towel or paper towel. And we're going to go into our titanium white. And I think I want to do some ultramarine blue and kind of have a lighter background. I know we've been doing darker backgrounds, but this week I want to do a lighter background, a softer background. And we're just going to cover the whole background with this color. So that was just titanium white and ultramarine blue. You can go as light as dark as you want with this part. With all of the backgrounds, you guys don't have to do exactly what I've done. If there's a color that you'd like better, go ahead and do that. But if you want to follow along with me, that's cool too. So we're just going to get this whole background done. If your brush gets a little dry, just dip it in the water a little bit. In your water, your whatever you're rinsing your brush off with. And again, I don't like to be too fussy with backgrounds. I don't like to get stressed out about the background so much. So I put them in fairly quickly, and then at the end I decide if I want to add another coat or what I want to do with it. This background I wanted to be fairly light because we've been doing those darker backgrounds. So I want this to be really light. I might add another coat at the end. Hopefully I won't forget. But if you're satisfied with the background the way it is, you don't have to do another coat. Okay. And you can rinse your brush out. So we're going to block in this painting. We're going to start off with these kind of the wings, and we're going to go into our phthalo blue. You only need a little bit of it. This color is really strong, and a little bit of raw umber to darken it up a bit. And you don't need a lot of that color because it's really strong, really saturated. And we're just going to do this part of the wing here. It almost looks black, but you can definitely, up close on your canvas, you'll be able to see the blue. And we're still using our large brush. If you feel more comfortable using a smaller brush, you can go ahead. Get that in. And phthalo blue is one of my favorite blues to use. Such a pretty color. Okay, and we're going to put it in over here as well. I'll mix a little bit more of that. I like to mix a little bit at first. I don't know how much I'm going to need for a particular part. Now, I don't want to waste paint either, so I mix a little bit at first. And then if I need to mix some more, I go ahead and do that. So that was phthalo blue, a little bit of raw umber. It almost looks black, but it's not. If you don't have the pre-sketch canvas, you can go into the description box to see how you can purchase those off my website. Or if you just want to watch and follow along, that's cool too. And down here, we'll put a little bit more of that color in here. And to that mixture, we're just going to add a little bit of titanium white, a little bit more phthalo blue, and we're going to put that in up here. Okay, you can rinse your brush out and dry it off. We're going to go into our smaller flat. It's not the smallest flat that we'll use, but the next size down. Mine is a size, what is this? 8. And we're going to go into our raw sienna, and we're going to mix it with a little bit of burnt umber. Raw sienna, burnt umber. And I'm going to put that in here. So just follow along with what I'm doing. There. I'm going to go down here. I'll put a little bit of that here. Okay. Just made some more of that mixture. And just follow along with what I'm doing. So that mixture again was raw sienna, a little bit of burnt umber. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just, when you see me going back to this color, mixing some more of it, I'm just mixing more of the color that I already had. And as you can see, all of the barn owls that we've done so far, they all look similar but different at the same time, which I love. Okay. And I don't have much on my brush, so I'm just going to scrub it all throughout here. Just kind of haphazardly. Because I see some of this color like throughout here. It won't be like a prominent color or anything, but you'll be able to see it peeking through a little bit. And I see a little bit down here. Just want to make sure before I rinse my brush out. I see a little bit of that color over here. So there's not much on my brush. I'm just scrubbing some in. And my brush is very dry. There's not any moisture on my brush at all. Okay. And you can rinse your brush out. And now we're going to go into our titanium white. A little tad bit of raw umber. I got too much there, so I'm going to add some more white. And just a smidge of ultramarine blue. Maybe a little bit more. Going after this light bluish grayish color. And we're going to put that in right here. Just follow along. And around here. Okay. And in here. And here. A little bit here. And we're going to put some in here on this little face here. Okay. And a little bit more here. And we're going to add even more white to that mixture. Lighten it up quite a bit. Let's see. Yeah, that should be good. We're going to put that in here. And down here. We're not covering up all of the raw sienna in this area because I want it to peek through. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more white. So it's gray, but you can barely see it. Okay. You can rinse your brush out. Now we're going to go into we're going to get a little bit of this light pink, a little bit of the raw sienna, a little bit of the burnt umber. I want to see how that looks. I think I like it, so I'll mix some more. So some of the light pink, raw sienna, and a smidge of the burnt umber. And we're going to put that around the eyes here. Be careful, because some of this is wet down here. I always get paint on my hands. I'm going to put this around the eyes. A little bit more of that burnt umber, I think. Let me go back around and redo that. It's a little darker. Okay. Also gonna use that color over here. this eye. Down here. Okay. Now we're going to get just the burnt umber. You don't have to rinse your brush out. Just get some of that burnt umber. And we're going to go in with that. I'm going to go around the eye with that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing with this eye. Put a little bit of that color over there. Okay. You can rinse your brush out. And make sure your brush is really dry. We're gonna, I think, get our small, either round or liner brush. And we're gonna go into our black. So we're just gonna get a little bit of black here. And we're gonna do the eyes. Okay. Now we're gonna do the other eye as well. Okay. And while we're here, we're gonna put a little bit of this black down in that center there. Just lightly putting in some of that color. And you can rinse your brush out. Okay, now we're going to go into we're going to get our liner brush again. And we're going to go into our light pink. And we're going to get a tad bit of raw umber. More pink. And we're going to put that in here. Here. And you can rinse your brush out. We're going to put a little bit of titanium white. A little bit of that mixture we just had, just to make like a gray color. And put that in on the eyes. Just lightly brush that in there. Okay, and we'll put a little bit of that color here. All right. Now I've rinsed my brush out and it's pretty dry, and I'm just going back around, and I'm going to get a little bit of black and go back around these eyes a little bit. Okay. And while we're letting those eyes dry, we are going to get our medium flat or filbert. Get this out of the way. Our medium flat or filbert. Here. And we're going to go into our yellow ochre and a tad bit of the raw sienna and a tad bit of white. Okay, we're going to put that in around here. Just lightly tap that in around there. Lightly put that in down here. Just follow along with what I'm doing. Just lightly tapping the color in some places. A little bit more of that. Okay, we're going to put that in around here. And we're just tapping it in random spots. Okay. A little bit more white. Lighten it up a little bit. And like I said, we're just tapping this in. And around here. And down here. Okay. Okay. You can rinse your brush out. And dry it. We're still going to be using the same brush. We're going to get a little bit of phthalo blue. Remember, we only need a little bit of that, and we're going to add a little bit of white to it. And we're going to add some of that color, that lighter color in, just tapping it in. Okay. Just lightly tapping it in. And we're also going to put some up here. We're going to add a little bit more white. And we're going to lightly tap some in up here. We're not covering up all of the dark. We're just tapping some in. Okay, and we'll put a little bit of that lighter color in a few spots down here. Just random little spots down here. Okay, and you can rinse your brush out. We are going to go back to our small round, and we're going to go into the burnt umber. It's just burnt umber. We're not going to do any mixture. And we're going to go around the face and just randomly put in some of this color here. No mixture, just burnt umber. And we're just wiggling our brush a little bit just to get some not straight lines. We don't want any straight lines. It's kind of randomly throughout around the little face here. Okay. Okay. And we're going to kind of line the outside of his head with this burnt umber. And again, it doesn't have to be straight lines. Okay. You can rinse your brush out. We're going to go right into our titanium white with the same brush. We're just going to put some highlights in the eyes. And then over here as well. And we're also going to put some white. This is just white in the beak. Okay. A little around the eyes, just very lightly. Okay. And you can rinse your brush out. We're going to get our largest brush. And now we're going to go in, we're going to get just titanium white. We're going to work on the face. And for this, this brush should be pretty dry. And we're just going to press and drag around here. like this. Press and drag. And the brush needs to be really dry for this. Press and drag. Around the perimeter of the face. No water should be on your brush, or your colors will just get kind of muddled. We're just going all around the perimeter of the face. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're just pressing and dragging, and we're watching the direction of our strokes so we can make these feather-like marks. Okay. We're not completely covering the gray that we did before. The purpose of the gray was to create some variation. So press and drag, press and drag. Okay. And we're still just using just titanium white. There's no mixture. And for these, we're going inward. Inward. Pressing and dragging. Okay. All right. And down here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to press and drag, press and drag. All around. If you had a fan brush, that would make this a little bit easier. But you don't have to have a fan brush. Pressing and dragging. I barely have any paint on my brush now. I'm going to load my brush again. And again, we're pressing and dragging. And I'm going in the direction of these feathers that are down here. Just pressing and dragging. Okay. I'm leaving a little bit of the gray peeking through. We don't want to cover that up because we have a lot of white that we have to put into this. We need to have some variation. Okay. And we're going to put a little bit of white here. And a little bit of white here. And then again over here, we're going to put a little bit of white. Okay. And go into our raw sienna. I haven't washed my brush out. I don't mind it mixing with the white a little bit. We're going to add some of that color back in here. Pressing and dragging. Just in random spots. A little bit of that color back in here. We're going to go into our yellow ochre, a little bit more white this time. We're going to add in, we're going to tap in some of that color over here. If you feel like you have more control with the smaller brush, you can switch. Just putting a little bit of that color around. Okay. Just in some random spots. Very dry brush here. We don't want these colors to mix. And just around here. Okay. All right. Okay, and you can rinse your brush out. Some of the raw sienna around this side of the face got lost a little bit, so I'm going to get a little bit of just raw sienna and go back around this side and put a little bit in there. And around here. And put a little bit of that color down around in a few spots over here. A few spots over here. Okay. And you can rinse your brush out. Get your small round again. And we're going to go into our white, our titanium white. And we're just going to put the little dots that I see on the wings. Just randomly throughout the wings over here. Okay. We're going to do that on this side as well. Just randomly put little dots all around the blue parts of this wing. And here. Okay. You can just wipe your brush off. We're going to go into our phthalo blue. A little bit of black. That was phthalo blue and black. And in this light area up here, we're going to put these little dots. This light blue area. Just all around. Okay. I'm going to put it around here as well. Just randomly throughout. And that was phthalo blue and a little bit of black. Or you can do just black if you want. And a few more dots. Around here, there, a couple over here. And that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you enjoyed all of the barn owl tutorials. And if you have any questions, put them below. Any comments, put them below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.